So this is what happens when things don't line up. Giant crack in that. A 3% difference in tire size on an all-wheel drive system. That's all it took. And the lady who owns this vehicle, it's an elderly lady, doesn't have a lot of money. She took it to a chain shop. I won't say the name of the shop, but she took it to a shop, and they put new front tires on the car, and it was a 3% difference in tire size. And that's all it took. This is a Velocity all-wheel drive unit, a P80 in a Volvo. So what that means is it doesn't have an electronic clutch in it or anything like that to absorb any kind of slip, similar like what's in the P2 systems in the more modern Volvos, or similar to like a Subaru. They have a electronic clutching that'll give it a little bit of slip. But even in that case, their tolerance is about 1% at most of rolling resistance size. So this one had 3%, and unfortunately it grenaded this case. The shop did go ahead and helped the lady order a new one. I say helped. Let me grab the new one. So, the new one here, right off the gate, the flange for the transmission, it's similar, but it's a little different. You can see this one's got more length on the yoke. The diameter of the yoke for the prop shaft, or drive shaft as we call them here in the US, is a different size than the factory. Factory one's bolted on with a nut. This one's pressed. So, and with these older Volvos like this, these parts are becoming unobtainium for these things. They went to a P2 system, which is similar to what this is. This is for a non-turbo, probably an S70 sedan with an automatic, which is a little bit different drivetrain, but this is from a P2 system. The P2 system has electronic clutches in it that absorbed some of that mismatch. So what this did with that 3% difference in being a Velocity style, the fluid in it heats up, and what happens when it gets hot is it ends up making it pretty much just a rigid 50-50 match between front and rear. Well, if there's 3% difference in the front wheel size, it's fighting it, or tire size. And, what happens is it puts strain on it and it fails. And it's the same thing with life, with business. If things don't match up, it puts stress. And eventually that stress leads to failure. Some stress leads to almost instant failure. And I'm still learning that in business. I've had a lot of businesses. I'm wearing some of my old merch from an old company I had business partners in, and learned then that if things aren't aligned, just like, mechanics, the mechanics of things don't care. It's not judgment. It's all about mathematics. So it's the same thing with your business and in life. If if it's not working in unison, it's going to fail. We were getting ready to do an expansion. Somebody I've known for many years wanted to do some business with us, and they were. I entertained it. We were going to move forward with it, and just wasn't the right decision for either of us. He wanted 100% say and 5% of the weight of it, and that's just no. I've done that before. I don't need that. I know how to build a business. I know how to make things mesh, work in unison, and that would not have been working in unison. That would have put stress on me. I already, have got a bad heart, like a lot of guys my age. What could have happened to me? Something could have failed. It definitely would have with the stress. So it's the same thing with these cars. This is an all-wheel drive unit, and this is a 2000 Volvo V70 XC, which the XCs are great little cars. I mean, you can build a ton of power with these little turbo motors and go have fun. Delete the front wheel drive and just make them rear wheel drive and drift them around. They're great. There's tons of videos out there on YouTube of it. This lady's on a fixed income and $300 in tires, and then another $300 from the tire shop helping her, ordering the wrong unit. That $600 tuition on a $1,000 car it's really hard for a lot of people. It's a really hard learning experience. And now she's stuck with the decision of, does she have me crush the car for her, part it out, get what I can out of it for her? Does she have me get a new unit? This P80 VC unit, this is the angle gear unit. Now, to crack like that is a lot of load going through that drive shaft from the 3% difference. So what else is wrong with it? There could be something wrong with the rear diff. So on the low end, it could cost another $600 just to keep it all-wheel drive. On a high end, around $1,200. Mind you, it's a $1,000 car. These cars sell on a high end for about $1,500 these days. Or do I open this case up, delete everything out of it, TIG weld this up to get it sealed? It won't need no oil in it because there won't be any gear, and just use it as an axle carrier for the front axle so the vehicle's at least front wheel drive. She has that decision. And that's a hard decision. And she needs a vehicle. She has horses and goats and everything else that depend on her to go feed them every day, fresh hay and give them fresh water. And she's got, a lot of acreage that she drives across to go feed these animals. So I get her dilemma. And, like I said, it's everything in life, not just vehicles. If it don't mesh, it's not going to work. Something's going to break every time, 100% of the time. And you've got to remind yourself that. Like I said, not just about your vehicle, your personal life. There might be people that you don't quite mesh. That's volatile. That's going to create stress on you. Something's going to break 100% of the time. Say the same thing about business relationships. Maybe you have a business partner and you guys just don't quite mesh. It's volatile. You're at each other. They don't put in enough of the input. You're not meshing correctly. Something's going to break 100% of the time. So you just got to remember that. And, our videos are memes that we make, any of that's, really resonates with you, I welcome you to stick around. I do touch on men's mental health some, and I'm still somebody that has severe PTSD. I did live in the dark area, so to speak. Did business in the dark area for many, many years. Went through a lot of trauma. Stepped away from that, started integrating back into life, got into a really horrible wreck, and it caused some PTSD, and I started to backslide a little bit, it felt like. But I've learned how to integrate into normal life, and I'm still learning how to integrate into it. So if you're from that life and you're integrating into normal life, stick around. I welcome you to stick around. As always, much love. Crash over here at North Lake Automotive. We'll see you.